right near Kentucky, and the topography in Kentucky, Tennessee, West Virginia, northwestern Virginia are pretty much the same. And I never had a problem. I also grew herbs, especially wild herbs, ginseng. You're in one of the best places in America. You and West Virginia are the two best places outside of Wisconsin to grow wild ginseng. You've got ginseng that's 70 to 100 years old growing down there in Kentucky, as we do in West Virginia. Ginseng, edible herbs, culinary herbs, because herbs don't need the same root structure. They don't have the same root structure. They are a clinging root structure. They have microphylla on the ends that are different than let's say a vegetable that's a bulb vegetable or root vegetable. And then you put down you can put down all forms of bahia, grass. You can put down alfalfa, clover, and so I don't have a problem farming in any environment. You show me the environment, and I'll show you a way to farm, because I've had the dry Texas farm.
Well, you're the expert you need, and not me.
Well, I just believe that there's so many things we can do by sharing insights and information, because I'm sure that the things you've done in your great life, you could share with us, because we wouldn't have had your experience. We only have our own experience.
Well, all I can tell you is that I have hillsides that are too steep to plow, and I have them. Some of them are in woodland, and some of them are in grass. And I have a small flock of sheep to harvest the grass and make human food of it. And we sell our lambs to private customers.
What about the wool? Do you sell your wool?
The wool doesn't pay for shearing it.
I see.
Wool's been supplanted by synthetic fibers.
All right.
And
have you ever grown mushrooms?
No.
Mushrooms?
Well, I grow mushrooms in my woods. They grow without my help, but I don't know much about mushrooms.
Because mushrooms are one of the best foods in the world, anti-cancer. There's an enormous market for wild mushrooms, culinary restaurants.
Yes, I'm aware of that.
And that's one of the things I did when I had cliffs and I couldn't grow anything on a cliff. And so I tried growing mushrooms, and gee whiz, they grew. Anyhow, back to another issue.
Well, Gary Anderson at Constantine, Kentucky, is the best authority on mushrooms as a forest product.
Could you share with us, and I want just one last area, if you would please, could you share with us what message we can give to the American public about just being aware that they cannot indefinitely sustain this artificial, completely nature-removed lifestyle, that they have to at some point take some responsibility, or there will be consequences?
Well, I think the first step toward this has to be a lot of people making personal changes in their lives, and the first step is that they should attempt some kind of accounting. They should ask themselves what they know about the food that they eat. Where does it come from? How far away is it? What does it cost to produce it? Who suffers in the process of its production? What does it cost, both ecologically and economically, to produce it? And people who try that will find that if they want to do that kind of accounting, they've got to get their food closer to where they eat it. And so they have to draw in, so to speak, the boundary of their food economy. And so if you think that way, then you begin to see that it's ridiculous for a huge population like the one in the Northeast to be sitting in the middle of productive land on which farmers are failing.
Very well said, and I really appreciate your insights and the full body of your work over the decades. You have inspired us to a slow food movement, and your thoughts on the earth are very healing and revealing. Thank you very much, Wendell Berry, for being my guest today.
Well, you're entirely welcome. Thank you.
Conversation with the Remarkable Mind series. I'm Gary Null. In a moment, sugar is the new heroin. You heard me right. And a lot more on other health and nutrition topics. And I will be taking your calls today. And I'll give you out our number in just a moment. It's 888-873-4643. And we're going to do a few commentaries. Please stay with us. I'm Gary Null, broadcasting live and video streaming from our studio in New York City. Just a few program announcements, and then we're going to take your calls, and I'm going to give you the latest on health and healing and a little commentary. Next week, next Tuesday, we are going to do something a little different. I've got so many calls from people saying, yes, I'm interested in going to Albany, the New York State Capitol, and protesting on the steps. We have a permit, protesting the mandatory vaccination for healthcare personnel. That means daycare people, nurses, doctors, orderlies, everyone in the hospital and healthcare system that works in these centers, because once they do that, then it's just one more step that they'll take beyond that, and they could make it mandatory for everyone. So we're going to protest it. We're going to bring them the latest research. And just this morning, a major physician scientist out of the Midwest called my office, said he's coming because he feels it's that important. He wants to also network with many of the other physicians and nurses who are going to be there. And a New Jersey legislator is going to be there from New Jersey because he wants to be able to use the information that my staff and I have prepared in this major white paper on the safety and efficacy of vaccines, two-part. One is on flu and swine flu. The rest is on the other vaccines, as a part of his gaining more co-sponsors for a bill that would allow exemptions in New Jersey. So word is getting out about this. So we're going to have a car caravan. Here's what we're going to do. If you don't have a car, you'll call and we'll get you in a car. If you have a car or van, then let us know, and we're going to leave from my office at 83rd and Broadway at 5:30 on Tuesday morning. Now, it shouldn't take that long to get up there. According to Google Map, it's 2.5 hours without any traffic, and at 5:30 in the morning, you have no traffic going out of the city. And it's only 3 hours with traffic, so we should get there in plenty of time to get set up. I've got a whole film crew going, and to get organized, and we do have a meeting. The governor was not able to personally meet with me because he's going to be in another city that day, but he's arranged for me to meet with one of the top health directors in the state. So we'll make our case. I have attorneys. We have 9 attorneys working out of this office here now on the vaccine issues, and they'll be up there as well. So we have a lot. It's going to be a historic day. It will be a historic day. We're going to meet. We're going to bring people together, and we're going to say, no, we do not want mandatory vaccines. Let me just share a few of the thoughts, and then I'm going to go to someone who's on the line here, Liza Rudley, who is going to be a part of this. From Paul Joseph Watson, daycare worker told she'll be fired for refusing mandatory shot. Quote, a daycare worker employed by the Northeast Health in Albany, New York, was shocked to be told by her boss that she would be fired if she refused to take a seasonal flu swine shot on the spot. Similar stories have been pouring into us from all over the country as fears that the upcoming H1N1 shot will also be mandatory, and so that's that. And now, next, Massachusetts pandemic bill allows health authorities to enter your home and detain you without warrant. From Chelsea Schilling, Global Research, quote, a pandemic response bill currently making its way through the Massachusetts state legislature. By the way, I was told they voted on yesterday. I have not